What's up, gang? Welcome back to DizDad TV. On today's episode, we have another reaction video, and we're checking out the Disney Plus and Star Wars series, The Mandalorian. This is season 3, the premiere episode. If you want to check my reactions for other Star Wars and Marvel shows, if you're in the theme park and Imagineering content, you can find it all on the homepage of my channel. Links in the description below as well. Appreciate you checking that out, liking, subscribing, and hanging out with me here. But it's been a hot minute since we've had any content here on the channel. Did not intend to take quite this big a break. We finished up Andor back in December, and I was going to take the holidays, Christmas, December off, and pop back in January with some new things. But things kind of popped up. I also was taking part in an Imagineering competition, working with some folks online, creating some projects, and I'll post some images off to the side, some of the things that I worked on. Nothing I'll make a video of, probably nothing solo, so I'm hoping to get some solo projects here on the channel at some point, but definitely excited to be jumping back into Star Wars. Really any Star Wars or Marvel content for that matter, because it's been 3 months, which is crazy to think that big a gap on Disney Plus between any kind of content from those two properties. But really ready for The Mandalorian. This is kind of the series that really kicked off Disney Plus and Star Wars on Disney Plus for that matter, and really has kind of been the banner series on the streaming service. Although Andor has a lot to say about that as well. It was fantastic, but 2 seasons of Mandalorian in the books, both really well done. Hopefully you watched Book of Boba Fett, even though it didn't get the best reviews. It was an okay series, but there was a couple episodes in Boba Fett that will definitely be leading into how we got to season 3 of Mandalorian. So hopefully you caught that. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of a recap here at the beginning of this episode. And I don't think it's required watching, but I think one thing that might help as well, just kind of based off where this season seems to be heading. If you didn't watch the Clone Wars animated series, definitely recommend checking the entire thing out. It's absolutely fantastic. But there are plenty of episodes, or at least several episodes, that are great for background on Mandalore and the Mandalorians themselves. Seasons 1 through 4, this kind of episodes sprinkled here and there, but more so season 5. There's like a 3 or 4 episode arc that's good to check out. And then also season 7, the final season, there's about 2 or 3 episodes and they all kind of dive heavily into Mandalore and some of the events that took place before what's happening now and eventually led up to what happened, during the Purge and all of that, some of the things we hear about being discussed in The Mandalorian. So definitely recommend, if you haven't watched at least the Mandalorian episodes in that series, try and catch those at some point before we get too far into the season. I just think it's great background information. Again, I don't think you have to watch it, but I think definitely well worth watching if you've got the time. But yeah, I think at this point we should be picking up with Djarin and Grogu. Where they're going to end up, I don't know. Last we saw them heading into hyperspace, going who knows where to do who knows what. I don't think it's going to be Mandalore right away, but I guess we'll see when this episode kicks off. But again, really looking forward to checking out this episode and the entire season for that matter. Looking forward to big things. So all that being said, let's just go ahead and check out episode 1 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. I love this intro. She got a new forge. It looks pretty sharp, doesn't it? I wonder who this is for. Oh, is it a helmet? Oh, it is. Nice looking helmet. Looks like they've grown in numbers, haven't they? Is that a young Djarin? I know that guy.
Words of the creed shall be forever forged in my heart.
I don't think that could be Djarin, could it? That's pretty cool.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
I shall never.
Oh, what's coming? What is that? What in the world is that? It's like a giant croc. Oh, this is crazy. That thing is huge. Gotta love jetpacks. Gotta love jetpacks. Yeah, hang on tight. Oh man. They're just getting beat up. Why would you attach yourself to this thing? What did they do? What was it, Lake Placid? What did they do in Lake Placid to catch that thing? That's what they need to do. Oh man. Their weapons are just bouncing right off of it. It's nice to see the armorer get some action though, right? Oh, man. He's just gonna jetpack that kid out of the way. Oh, look who it is. Yeah, it was definitely not a flashback. That was definitely not Djarin, was it? Oh. Oh, gross. Oh, man. Oh, that's gross. Is all forgiven now? What do you say? Grogu. That little pod is awesome. Oh man. That's so good. That's a great little intro, right? For the series? Or for the season?
You are no longer Mandalorian.
Didn't we already discuss this in Boba Fett?
But what if the mines of Mandalore still exist? Jawas. They came upon it by trade from a traveler who claimed to have visited.
What don't Jawas have, right?
The decree of exile will be lifted and I would be redeemed.
You must accept me back. You must. He's so stinking cute.
This is the way.
Again, I know we had some of that at the end of in Boba Fett, but it's got a nice little refresh, I guess, for this season. Adds a little more context with the inscription there. I cannot be comfortable sleeping like that, right? What is that? Oh wait, is that the I cannot remember what they're called right now, but from Rebels, the space whales? Is that what those are? That's a neat little trick. He's just gonna pop right up there at his lap. That whole dynamic and relationship between the two of them is just great. Where are we at now?
Welcome to Navarro, independent trade anchor.
That's Navarro.
Greetings. Welcome to the port of Navarro.
A lot has happened to Navarro since we were last here. It's like the robot from Boba Fett, doesn't it? The kitchen robot. Mon Calamari.
Enjoy local delicacies. Marvelous black bar.
It is like night and day. Episode 1, seeing Navarro and then seeing it now. They made a statue out of him? Get out. He was a pretty cool droid, wasn't he?
Mando!
Mando!
I heard you were back.
What is that holding his cape up?
Big Karga.
That's
Wait, was that stormtrooper helmets he was standing on? The statue? It is. That's great. That's great.
welcome back.
Doesn't even look like the same place.
I know we've done
Yeah, it does not, does it?
One, you can settle down, you can hang up your blaster, live off the fat of the land.
Sounds like a pretty good deal, doesn't it?
His name is Grogu.
If you say so.
He's back there spinning in that chair. What kid hasn't done that, right? He's using the Force, though, isn't he?
It can wait.
But it's pirates! Pirates in the courtyard.
Oh, I guess some space pirates.
Come on, Vane. That'll be enough of that.
Are we going to see Hondo in this series or this season?
Close to your captain.
We drink here.
He's just looking for a fight, isn't he?
You paid us for murder and mayhem inside these doors.
He's a changed man.
Sounds like you went soft.
He didn't go that soft, did he? Oh, nice shot. Just like that. I do wonder if we'll get a cameo from Hondo this season. That would be great. And it would be fitting, too, with Filoni being so involved in this.
Service droid scrub up out there.
Those droids carrying his robe behind him is this is funny.
After she brought in Moff Gideon, she was recruited by Special Forces.
There's our quick explanation for Cara Dune.
Under my watch, Navarro will become the first truly independent trade anchor in this entire sector.
That's interesting. Not wanting to be part of the Republic. And it makes sense. Obviously, I think I'd be hesitant too, the way things have kind of shaken out over the previous years. Going from Emperor and pre-Emperor, all that, all the bureaucracy.
I need a droid I can trust to help me explore Mandalore. And he's that droid.
That explains why IT-11 was so prominent in the flashback. I think they even saw him in the intro with the helmet fuse thing they do. I think we saw his helmet in that as well. Look at that. That would be wild to have him back in this.
Let's see if we can wake him up.
You think this is going to work? You're going to hotwire him? Oh wait, is he moving? Wow. Oh no. Oh gosh, look at that. Just don't toss the baby.
Now that's using your head.
That's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger line, right? That is totally an Arnold line.
Who?
The Ancellans.
Oh, is that Babu? Got a little hole in the wall there. Okay, there's multiple. That's great. He does mean not friend anymore.
Very hard to find.
He said they don't make them anymore. They're very hard to find.
I got it.
I don't think he needs that translated.
He says you should get a new one.
You gotta love the look he can still give him. He's got a helmet on, but he can still give him the look. And you know the expression he's probably got on his face.
If you can get a new part, he says he can fix it.
There's our next mission, right? Oh gosh, put him down. Does he want to eat him, or did he want like a little doll?
Sorry about that. He's young.
Safe travels.
He's waving. It definitely makes sense why he'd want IG-11 when he goes to Mandalore, and he's kind of building his new crew. Or I guess his old new crew, I guess I should say, since obviously Cara Dune's no longer available.
And this is your enemy proximity warning indicator.
Danger, danger.
After cutting down 4 of my brothers in cold blood.
Are we gonna get a starfight? He gets so excited, doesn't he? Oh, is there more? Oh, that was cool. How good does this look? I mean, this is a streaming series, and this looks I mean, it looks movie quality, does it not?
Has anyone got eyes on the Mandalorian?
Oh, is he going to pop out from behind? Oh, nice. That ship is so cool. He's just picking them off now. That's awesome. Again, this just looks amazing. I just can't get over this. Oh, he was bait. Look at that ship.
Stop where you are, Mandalorian.
What is that thing?
A kind sentiment from a man who just
What is that? Yeah, we're just gonna punch it. Let's get out of here. Definitely one of the odder looking Star Wars creatures we've seen.
And that is a Mandalorian castle.
Oh, cool. Check that out. It's a little imposing, isn't it? Now, are we going to see Bo-Katan here? It looks very similar to the aesthetic from the trailer we saw. That's a trip. I know we saw him earlier on this episode when he popped into the cockpit, so we know we can get through there, but how he just drops out of that little pod. It's like Wizard of Oz. They're going to see the great and powerful Oz, aren't they? And Grogu. He's just looking around like, what is all this?
Bo-Katan, it is Djarin. Where is the stolen fleet?
Making their way through the galaxy as mercenaries.
Nice.
Do you still have the saber?
I do.
Are we going to see it?
Wave that thing around, and they'll do whatever you say.
She is a bit depressed, isn't she?
The children of the Watch and all the factions that came before fractured and shattered our people.
Although to be fair, you and your own faction.
Go home. There's nothing left.
She looks a little different, doesn't she?
So that I may bathe in the living waters and be forgiven for my transgressions.
I don't think she cares about that.
They're beneath the Civic Center in the city of Sundari.
Alright. Now he knows where to go, doesn't he?
Goodbye, Djarin.
She is definitely down the dumps. Ah, are you serious? That's the ending? That's kind of a short episode, wasn't it? I was just getting into that. Oh man. That was a good intro episode though. I never like how they end these things, but did thoroughly enjoy that. It was a good intro for the season. Nothing groundbreaking. Definitely a different tone. We think about coming from. It's been a few months, but think about the last Star Wars thing that I've seen was Andor, and coming to this just tells you how drastically different those two shows were. Both good in their own right, obviously, but it's going to take some getting used to. I'm fully invested now in Mandalorian, kind of putting the Andor back to the side, but did enjoy this. Good episode, and again, kind of sets up or just kind of introduces a lot of what we're going to see, I assume, this season. Really the entire, it's going to be a jam-packed, we know from the trailer it's going to be jam-packed, at least we assume so, but seeing everything that gets brought up in this episode, there's going to be a lot happening and a lot to keep up with. Obviously, Bo-Katan, we're going to see her again at some point. That's not going to be the last we see of her. I don't know, is she going a little crazy there? I mean, she looks like she's hanging out by herself with that one robot droid there in that castle. She's just kind of lounging in the chair, very nonchalant. I couldn't tell from that last parting thing she said, I don't think it's an act, but it almost seems, and I can't tell if she's given up or kind of where she's at mentally, but I'm going to be really curious when we see her again, kind of what's going on, because we got to get some more context. Obviously, she indicates the Mandalorians that were with her have left her, are off doing things, pillaging, what have you, mercenaries around the galaxy. So Gonna be really curious how when she pops back into the series, what the context is and what's going on with her. But again, so many things to get into. IG-11, great to see him back in the series, or eventually come back to the series. Definitely, we know from at least from what's happening, we're not going to Mandalore right away. So this looks like this season is going to follow that similar script, with the previous seasons of Mandalore, which we shouldn't be surprised, but going to have our overarching story for the season. But then each episode going to have missions throughout the season, which I will say in the first 2 seasons, I enjoyed it, but there was 1 or 2 occasions I could have done without some of the missions. It did seem to kind of drag on at certain times. Again, not the entire, it's 1 or 2 episodes each season for me. So I'm hoping this season they can kind of keep the pace up. The IG-11 mission makes total sense. And the nice thing about it does lead directly into the larger mission. It makes sense why he would want IG-11 to come with him to Mandalore, and he's kind of assembling, I guess, kind of his old new crew with Cara Dune gone, but having IG-11 with him and Grogu, it'll be really cool to see. And I enjoyed that character. I assume we'll get Taika back as the voice, and waking him up was not the best idea the way it happened in this episode. We had the great line there that's using your head. It was kind of cheesy, but it was very like Arnold, Sylvester Stallone. That just immediately I was thinking one of those action films and those goofy lines. But that was kind of a lighthearted moment there at the episode. It was really wild to see Navarro and how much it's changed. I think I mentioned it when I was watching, but you go back to the very first episode and we see Navarro, and even then, I guess popping into season 2, saw a little bit of changes. And I don't know what the time period jump is, throughout these first 2 seasons in this episode, but really kind of a stark contrast of how that area has changed. Obviously, leadership, remnants of the Empire gone, and obviously it was interesting here too to hear Grief talk about not wanting to join the New Republic. But it's just really a stark contrast in the 2 environments and how drastic things have changed. And I'd be interested to see if they explore that further as the season goes along, and that whole, post-Empire mindset for not just Navarro, but other parts of the galaxy, and how that plays out, if we see it play out at all. It'd be kind of interesting to see. We saw pirates in this episode. I don't know what that Pirates King leader was. It looked like seaweed, whatever that thing was. I got to believe we're going to see the pirates again. That cannot be the last. He got the upper hand on them in that battle there. So got to believe we're going to see those pirates again at some point in the season. I don't know. Are we going to have a Hondo sighting? I think I mentioned too, it would make total sense, looking at the Mandalorian, looking back last season, I guess more so Boba Fett, but we had Cad Bane pop up from the animated series from Clone Wars. So it would make total sense to have Hondo pop up in the season with pirates. Would he be there to help Mando? Would he be with the pirates? You never know with Hondo, but that would be kind of a nice little cameo for the season at some point. And again, with Dave Filoni working on this and so involved, thinking ahead about Ahsoka and all the animated characters, even Bo-Katan in this series. So I'd be interested to see if we do see Hondo in this season. That little interaction with the pirates and Grief and Mando there on Navarro was well done. The battle sequence in space, the space battle, the fighter battle, that was so well done. Again, I'm no film expert by any means, but you have to remember, this is streaming, so it's not, I kind of equate streaming and TV, very similar. Obviously, I know this series, they're spending a ton on these episodes compared to a normal TV episode, but that whole fight sequence was so well done. Like it was, to me, it was movie quality. It was just everything about it. All the shots, come around the asteroids, we got the flashes into the cockpits, the explosions, just the way it all played out, just very, very cool. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Again, I don't remember what they're called, and it was the very beginning of the episode. We see Grogu there where they're going through hyperspace, and the space whales, for lack of a better term. I cannot remember what they're called, but I do remember them from Rebels. They popped in. at least a couple episodes that I can think of. So again, another Filoni, tie-in and animated series tie-in from Clone Wars, Rebels, what have you. So it's nice to kind of see that connected universe. I don't know if that is going to factor in this series at all, but I think maybe just kind of a nice Easter egg for the season at large. But again, we saw Moff Gideon briefly. We knew he's going to be back in this series. And we know Giancarlo is coming back for the series as well. So how does he factor in the whole cloning aspect, all of that? Again, so many things out there. And of course, we haven't even gotten to Mandalorian yet. So, and I'm hoping they don't drag the whole Mandalore thing out till the end of the season. I don't want to get it out of the way now, but I also don't want it to be something where it's just teased and then it's episode 7 or 8 before we get to Mandalore. I would like to see us get there sooner than later. Again, I'm totally okay with the IG-11 mission. Again, it makes total sense as far as getting there, but I hope the missions this season don't detract from getting to Mandalore and all that entails. I think back to the trailer too, the fight sequence with all the Mandalorians, that seemed like it was, now that we've seen Navarro, that seemed like that was Navarro, right? So we know that's going to play out at some point. How does that escalate to get the Mandalorians in Navarro and what plays into that? And again, entertaining season. Again, totally stark contrast and tone from Andor. Obviously, this was distinctly Mandalorian. I did enjoy it. Didn't blow me away, but it was really good. And for an opening episode, I thought it did what it needed to do to kind of recap things, tell us how we got here. The whole opening, a couple minutes with the Mandalorians and the baptism of a new Mandalorian child, and that the whole fight sequence was well done. The creature, and I've actually got it paused on my screen now. This must have been the concept for the creature. I guess it was supposed to have a beak, and again, the VFX on it were really well done. It was more alligator or crocodile looking. I wish they could have gotten it to this point. I'll post that up on the screen, but I like the beak. To me, this is much more distinctive of what it could have been with the beak-like features. The rest of it was fine. But as far as the head, I think this would have, for me anyway, would have been pulled off better to be more Star Wars-y, if that makes any sense. That creature was almost a little too Earth-like. I mean, it was huge, but I wish they could have gotten this creature VFX-wise into the shot. But it was well done. But again, sorry to get off tangent there, but again, solid all-around episode. I'm hoping the rest of the season, we kind of get some of the same quality as far as filmmaking and things kind of pick up. Again, hoping the missions kind of contribute and doesn't drag things too much. And I'm just looking forward to getting back into this world. It's just such a well-done series, and it's great having hopefully 2 back-to-back Star Wars series just knock it out of the park, which it still remains to be seen with this season, but definitely looking forward to what lies ahead for the rest of season 3 of Mandalorian. So really appreciate you guys joining me for this first episode and this reaction. And until next time, I will see you for episode 2.